Hello everyone. Today we will study Poem 2, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. This poem is written by a famous English poet and essayist Stephen Spender. As evident from the title, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, the poet talks about the miserable condition of children studying in elementary school in a slum. Through this poem, the poet is trying to highlight the social inequalities prevailing in the society. He presents two different worlds in the poem. One is the world of the rich and the civilized people, and the other is the world of poor, unprivileged people living in slums. The poet shows that there is a wide gap between these two worlds, and there is no possibility of bringing these two worlds together. However, the poem ends with a positive note. He still has faith that if certain people, the government departments and the society, if they come forward and do something to eliminate their sufferings and to alleviate their pains, then something can be done and these poor children, they can come out of their miserable condition. This poem is written in free verse. Free verse means there is no rhyming scheme, and there are many poetic devices also in the poem. There are metaphors, there are many metaphors and similes used in the poem. Metaphor and simile. Let's discuss metaphor and simile first. Simile is used for comparison, and it is used, simile is, the two things are compared using like or as. For example, if we say as white as a dove, so something which is so white that it has been compared to dove. So it is a simile because like has been used. Simile, metaphor is also a comparison. In this, there is a comparison is made which is hidden. A hidden comparison is made between two things that are unrelated, but they have some common characteristics. For example, if I say he is a snake in disguise, means we are comparing to a person to a snake because he might have done something wrong. So this evil thing has been compared by using snake. Now let's start. Far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. Now here is a description of a classroom. In this description, the pathetic condition of the children studying in a slum school has been discussed. So now he says, far, far from gusty waves, these children's faces. Means children of the slum. Now these children's faces are far, far from gusty waves. Now gusty means very strong, energetic, full of vigor. But here gusty waves is a metaphor. Here gusty waves refers to the children who belong to rich class, who belong to privileged class, who have all the facilities, who have all the basic amenities required for a livelihood. So, but these children are far, far from those gusty waves. Means they do not have those privileges, they do not have all those facilities. So here far, far has been repeated. This is known as repetition. And why far, far has been repeated? To stress between the great difference between the rich and the poor. So here gusty waves refer to the rich and privileged children who live in a civilized world, but these children's faces are far away from them. Like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor. Now these children of the slum, they are like rootless weeds. What are weeds now? Weeds are the unwanted plants which grow between the crops, and these children of the slum have been compared to rootless weeds, means they are unwanted in the society, nobody likes them, and they are unstable, they do not have any stability in their life, so they are rootless. So now, like rootless weeds, it's a simile. So these children are like rootless weeds. The hair torn round their paler means pale faces. Their hair torn means their hair are unkempt, they have not been neatly combed, so their hair torn round their pale faces, means these children have pale faces because they do not live in a healthy condition, they do not have proper food, so their faces are dull, pale. The tall girl with her weighed down head. Now there is a tall girl in the class and she has a weighed down head. Weighed down means she is burdened, she is very sad, and that's why she is burdened with poverty, and she is sitting with her head down, and it seems that she is totally burdened with poverty and despair. The paper seeming boy with rat's eyes. Now there is another boy and he has been compared to a paper. So the paper seeming boy, it is again a metaphor because the boy has been compared to paper but without using like or as. So the paper seeming boy. So what does it mean by paper seeming boy? It means that the boy is very lean and thin because maybe he is very malnourished, because the children in the slum, they do not get proper food, they are malnourished, and that's why he is like paper, very thin, with rat's eyes. Rat's eyes, again his eyes have been compared to rat because these children are underdeveloped and they live like rodents, very scared and insecure. They are always have the feeling of insecurity, they always live in very in a fear. That's why his eyes have been compared to rat. Again it's a metaphor. The stunted unlucky heir of twisted bones. Now this boy is stunted. Stunted means again he is underdeveloped, he is not properly growing because of the lack of food. Unlucky heir. Heir means successor. Means why the boy is shown as unlucky heir. Now the poet says that he is the unlucky heir of twisted bones, reciting a father's gnarled disease, his lesson from his desk. The child is reciting a lesson standing at his desk, and generally what do children inherit from their parents or from their grandparents? Means the privileged children, the rich children, the children who live in the civilized world, they generally inherit wealth, health, money. But these children, this boy especially, he has inherited a disease from his father. What is the disease? A disease of twisted bones, means this child has twisted bones, and instead of inheriting wealth, money, health and all the facilities from his father, he has inherited a disease. A gnarled disease means a dangerous disease from his father. And though he is reciting lesson from his desk, it seems that in place of, means his problem, his twisted bones are getting highlighted and they are attracting everybody's attention. So it seems that he is not reciting his lesson, but he is telling about his poor, miserable condition and the disease that he has inherited from his father. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of squirrels' game in tree room other than this. Now the poet talks of one more boy who is sitting at the back of the dim class. Now dim class shows that the class is not very airy and there is no proper light. So the class may be dingy, dark, and at the back one boy, unnoticed boy is sitting, who is sweet and young. His lives live in a dream. Now his eyes are dreamy. He Though he is sitting in the class, he is not paying attention to the lesson being recited, and he is lost somewhere else in his dream. He is dreaming of Squirrel's game. He is dreaming of Squirrel's game. He is more attracted towards the squirrel who is moving from here and there in tree room. And for him, that tree room where the squirrel goes, that is more enjoyable other than this. So this child, he is still in dream, he still has hope, and he wants to live, to see the outside world where there is freedom, where there is hope, where there is joy. So now let's move to the next stanza. So in the first stanza we can see that the poet talks about the various children who are sitting in the class and about their miserable condition, about their pathetic condition, in what unhealthy surroundings they are living, and what they have inherited from their parents. Now let's move to the next stanza. On sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized dome, riding all cities. Now, this paragraph, the poet describes the class. He gives the description of the class. The class, in the class, the walls have been described as sour cream. So when the cream turns sour, it becomes yellowish. So even the walls are yellowish in color. So what does this means? This means that the walls have not been painted for long, and that's why they have turned yellow. So sour cream walls, this is again a metaphor where walls have been compared to sour cream. Donations. Now on the walls there are some pictures which have been donated by some rich people. Shakespeare's head. Now there is one picture where Shakespeare's head has been shown, cloudless at dawn, and in the background there is behind the Shakespeare's head there is a cloudless sky of the morning. But here it also refers to that these children, they do not have these cloudless sky in their destiny, because these children's future is very dark. They cannot see such cloudless or bright morning, because they have gloom, despair, disappointment in their life. So Shakespeare's head is there on the picture, and behind in the background of that head there is cloudless sky. The scene is of morning. Civilized dome. Now here civilized dome refers to the sun. When the sun rises in the morning, then it is in the shape of a dome. So civilized dome refers to the sun riding all cities, which moves over all the cities. So here civilized dome refers to rising sun. So there is a picture of Shakespeare's head. In the background there is a cloudless sky and sun. Belled flowery Tyrole's valley. Now there is one more picture where Tyrole's valley has been shown. This Tyrole's valley is actually a valley in Austria, and in which there are belled flowers. There is a scenic beauty has been shown here, and it's a beautiful valley where there are many flowers, belled flowers. And why this has been, but the condition of these children is just opposite to all the things that are put on the walls. Then there is open-handed map. Open-handed map, awarding the world its world. Now what is the meaning of awarding the world its world? Means this map is showing the world to the world. And yet for these children, these windows, not this map, their world, but all these things that are put on the wall, they are just in contrast to the lives of the children. Because for these children, these maps, these Tyrole's valley, they are out of their reach. And even Shakespeare, who is a symbol of intellectual person, who is a symbol of knowledge, learning, but all these things are dream for these children. They are out of reach of these children. for these children, these windows, the window outside their class, only they are the world, not this map, their world, where all their future is painted with the fog. So here, like their, for them the map is not what is shown on the wall. For them the map is what they can see outside the world. Their world is constrained to only the slum area where they are living, that dark dingy slums, that gloomy place which is only the world for them, and that is the map for them, because they cannot go out of that world. Their all future is painted with a fog, because they have a dark future. It is painted with fog. They do not have light. They do not have light in their destiny. Their life is full of hopelessness. So now certain questions could be asked from these two paragraphs. Like in the first paragraph, in even in reference to context, some questions could be asked, like what does gusty waves mean? So here we can answer that gusty waves refers to the children who belong to privileged class, who belong to rich families, or who live in the civilized world, and their life is full of vigor, energy and happiness, but which is in contrast to the lives of these children living in slums. Now here, why far far has been repeated? The word far far has been repeated twice to stress upon the gap between rich and the poor. They have a big gap between them. Now the next question could be asked, like what are the children compared to? Now the children are compared to rootless weeds. Why they have been compared to rootless weeds? Because these children are unwanted in the society. They do not have stability in their lives. That's why they have been compared to rootless weeds. Then you could be asked, like, that why is the girl sitting with weighed down head? So here you can say that the tall girl, she is overburdened with poverty, and she is exhausted physically and emotionally. That's why this word weighed down head has been used. Now there are two words which show that the children in the slum, they are malnourished. They are paper seeming boy and rat's eyes. Then you have the word stunted, which also means underdeveloped. So these words can be used to show the condition of the children. Now then you could be asked, why the child is called unlucky heir? Why is the child represented as unlucky heir? So here you can answer that generally the children of the civilized world, they inherit money, wealth, knowledge in their inheritance, but this child, these children of the slum, they inherit disease, they inherit poverty, they inherit hopelessness from their parents. And that's why this particular child also, who has inherited the disease of twisted bones from his father, so he is an unlucky heir. Now then you could be asked, like, describe the classroom. How has the poet described the classroom? There we can describe all these things, that the wall are like sour cream because they have not been painted for long, and there are certain donations, some donated pictures which have been pasted on the wall with like Shakespeare's head, then Tyrole's valley, and open-handed map. But these all things are in contrast to the lives of the children who are underprivileged, who do not have the basic amenities, who live in unhygienic conditions. So they are out of the reach of these children. These all these things are far-fetched things for these children, and their future is painted with a fog. Now let's move to the next stanza. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. Now these children live in narrow street which are sealed in with the lead sky. Even the sky above, for them the sky is not full of light, it is dark. So it also represents their dark future, that they do not have any hope in their life. they cannot see the proper sunlight, so their future has been fixed. It is dark with a lead sky, far far from rivers, capes and stars of words. No, now these children, their life is far far from the nature, from rivers, capes. Cape is means piece of land which joins the sea, and stars of words. Stars of words means light of knowledge. So these children will not be able to see the nature. They will not be free to live among the nature. They will not be able to get the knowledge, the light of the knowledge. These children do not have all these privileges. They are living in such miserable condition. Now next, surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example. For these children, now this is important. Why is Shakespeare wicked for them? Surely Shakespeare is wicked, the map a bad example. Now why the map is also a bad example? With ships and sun and love, tempting them to steal for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes. So Shakespeare, who is an example of literary excellence, and the map which shows the whole world, which shows the beauty of the whole world, they are just in contrast to the lives of the children. So the children consider Shakespeare as wicked, because he talks in his literary works, he talks about ships, he talks about sun, he talks about love. But and these things, they are as if they tease these children and they tempt them, they attract them to achieve all those things, and therefore these children then resort to wrong things like stealing. They steal, they try to them to steal for lives. Actually, steal here also means that they try to escape from the lives in which they are living, that slyly turn in their cramped holes. Actually, they are living in cramped holes. What is the meaning of cramped holes? They are living in such congested places, so their houses, their slums have been compared to cramped holes. Cramped means congested. So cramped holes again is a metaphor. So for lives that slyly turn in their cramped holes, so they try to escape from those cramped holes. Shakespeare allured them by talking about ship, by talking about sun, to have such life, but they cannot have such a life. Similarly, the map also shows them sun, it also shows them ships, and it also shows them the beautiful nature, the beautiful world, and it again tempts them to achieve all those things. It allures them, but finally they cannot achieve all those things, and they have to live in those cramped holes. From fog to endless night, from fog to endless night, their life starts with darkness and ends in darkness. There is no light in their world, because it is very difficult to come out of this despair, this gloomy life, because they do not have anything to come out of that life. Now here alliteration has also been used. Like, what is alliteration? Repetition of the first letter. Here we can see from fog, so f has been repeated, so it is an example of alliteration. Similarly, surely Shakespeare, again it is an example of alliteration. So from fog to endless night, lives their lives are constrained to those cramped holes, and they have to live there from fog till endless night, from morning which is dark till night which is also endless, which has no end. Their dark gloomy lives have no end. On their slag heap, these children, slag means waste, garbage, these children live on garbage, means these children live in dirty places. These children wear skins peeped through by bones, and spectacles of steel with mended glass, like bottle bits on stones. Now these children, they wear skins peeped through by bones. It again shows their unhealthy condition that these children are so thin, so lean, they are so malnourished that through their skins one can see the bones, means their skeletons can be seen. They are so malnourished, they do not get proper food. And spectacles of steel with mended glass, and the children who have the blur, who cannot see properly, they wear spectacles which are made of steel, means they are very heavy, with mended glass. Even they cannot afford proper glasses, they are wearing, they might have been given spectacles by some rich person, which might not be of use to them. So the glass has been mended like bottle bits on stones. Again a simile has been used, like bottle bits on stones. Now the glasses which have been mended by themselves only, they have not been professionally mended, and the spectacles which the children are wearing, they look like bottle bits on stones. Stones means the eyes of the poor children here. So it appears as if on stones some bottle bits have been kept. The spectacles appear as if on some on the eyes of the children, which are like stones, some bottle bits have been kept. Now again we have the example of alliteration here. Bottle bits, BB has been repeated. Similarly, spectacles of steel, S has been repeated. Now all of their time and space are foggy slum. All of their time, all the time, and even the space where they live, that is foggy slum. They have to live in that foggy dark slum. So blot their maps with slums as big as doom. Now the poet says, let us not show them dreams by showing those maps. Let their maps, for them the maps should have those slums which are as big as doom, which have no end. So they should be shown the reality, what actually they have. They should not be shown the things, and they should not be teased by showing those things which are out of their reach, which are far-fetched things from them, for them. So better their maps should have those, they should be blotted, means on them there should be printed the slums which are as big as doom, which will end till their death. Doom means death, means this kind of life will end with their death only. Now let's move to the next stanza. Now this last stanza is quite different from the other stanza, because in the beginning stanzas there is hopelessness, there is despair, there is pessimism. But finally in this last stanza the poet is full of hope. But on the other hand, he also criticizes the government authorities and the people of the privileged society. He believes that these people, they are responsible for the plight of these poor slum children. Because if they come forward to help these poor children, if they come forward for the cause of these children, then their situation could be changed, their poverty could be eliminated. So in the last paragraph is full of optimism, full of positivity. He says, unless governor, inspector, visitor. Governor means the person from the government authority, inspector again a government official, visitor means a person from the privileged society, from the rich civilized society. So he says, unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window. And these windows means if these people will try to help them, then these map will actually become their window. Right now for them, the map is what they see outside their slum classroom, but the map which is hanging on the wall, it can become a reality when, if these governors, these inspectors, these visitors, they come forward to help these poor children. And these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs. Catacombs means cemetery, graves where dead people are buried. So he says that right now the windows which can show them the outside world, they have been shut down, and these children, they are living they are in the under inside these window, like as if they are living in graves, their lives like catacombs, again simile. So they are living in graves, dark graves, where there is no light, and there is gloom, there is despair, there is darkness, there is hopelessness. So catacombs means graves where dead people are buried. So buried, and these people of the slum, these children of the slum, their lives are no less than the dead people. Break, oh break, open till they break the town. Now he is requesting the people, the privileged people, to break for them the narrow lanes, to break the that life, those windows which have put them into those graves. So break, oh break, open till they break the town. Let them move freely in the town. Give them freedom. They should be brought out from the poverty. Actually, break, oh break means the walls of poverty, the prison of poverty should be opened, and they should be allowed to come out. And this can be done by these government officials and the privileged people of the society. And show the children to green fields. These children should be allowed to run in the green field among the nature, because nature is also a great teacher. They can also learn from the nature. And make their world run azure on gold sands. And these children, this world which is in which there are deep blue beaches and where waves which rise on the golden sands, they are there where there is a beautiful world. These children should also be allowed to run on those deep blue beaches where the waves rise on the golden sands of the beaches. Azure means blue. Azure is refers to the color deep blue. So run, these children, for them this world, beautiful world, should be allowed to open, and they should also be allowed to run in that beautiful nature. And let their tongues run naked into books. These children should also be allowed to speak. They should also have the freedom to speak, and they should be allowed to read the books. They should be allowed to read, get the knowledge which they have the right. And they should be freely, naked here means free, they should also be free to express themselves. The white and green leaves open. For them also, white here refers to books and green here refers to nature. Leaves means pages, means the nature is also a teacher and books are also the teachers. So the books and the nature should be made open for them, so that they can also gain knowledge from the books as well as the nature, which is also a teacher. History theirs, whose language is the sun. Now he says that if these people will be given the light and the warmth of the sun, if they will also have light in, if they will also have the language of light, they will have the brightness and warmth of the sun, then they will also create history. Means such people only can create history in their lives who have the light and warmth of the sun. So here again we can have certain questions. We have finished the poem. Let us discuss certain questions. Now if you see the last second paragraph, Shakespeare is wicked and the map is a bad example. So you could be asked, like, why Shakespeare has been referred to as wicked and why the map is a bad example. So here you can say that both promises, both these things, both Shakespeare and map, they promise a world which is far from their reach, that is out of their reach. They talk of ship, they talk of sun and love, and they give them false promises which cannot be achieved by these children. They tempt them to escape from their cramped holes, but then they have to return back to their cramped holes because these things cannot be achieved by them. That's why Shakespeare, who is an example of literary excellence, cannot be achieved by these. They are out of reach of these children. So that's why Shakespeare has been referred to as wicked, and map also which shows them a beautiful world is out of their reach. Their world is the slum, poor, dingy, dirty slum, and that's why it is also a bad example. Now, what do you mean? Again, you could be asked a question, from fog to endless night. What does this phrase mean? So, from fog to endless night means these children's future is dark. It is full of hopelessness and despair. Their morning starts with fog, which is where the vision is blurred, where nothing can be seen, and similarly, it ends with the night, which is endless, means which will never end. So there, in their life also, light will never come. Such is their life. Then the question could be asked about what is meant by spectacles of steel with mended glass like bottle bits on stones. So here also it shows the miserable condition of the children, where they do not have the basic things, the basic amenities. They have to, even they have to wear the spectacles which they might have got from some rich children, which are broken, and they have mended it on their own. And these glass, they are so heavy, and they appear as if the bottle bits have been put on stones. So the poet suggests that it's better to make the maps which show the slums on the maps, because the children should not be teased by showing the beautiful world. Now the last paragraph, the stanza is again important. Like here it can be said, like, how is the last stanza different from the other stanzas? So here we can answer that the last stanza is quite optimistic. It ends on a positive note, and here the poet has the hope that if the rich privileged class of the society and the government, if they come forward to help these poor children, then these children can also break the walls, the prison of their poverty, and they can also come out. They can also get opportunity to get knowledge, to learn something, and then they can also create history. That's all. With this, the poem is finished. I hope you liked it.